So last time we infiltrated, kind of thrown together disguises on some people's parts and almost got caught a couple of times. Warlin almost got caught trying to put silver on the table in a card game and was told that all silver should be turned over to Mondath or Cyanrath to put in the Hoard in the cave. And Julianne almost got the warning horn blown on her until she ingeniously threw both of the cultists over the rail and fed them to the guard drakes. Yalara is pretty well drunk and has just been swilling alcohol in the tent and kind of made a friend in Michaela, who chatted her up for a little bit. Gore has knocked out the half-orc keeper of the drakes. As I mentioned, Warlin almost got caught trying to gamble with money he shouldn't have, and also got flirted with a little bit by a female dwarf. And Anders just been kind of playing it cool, keeping an eye on everybody. So, Warlin and Ander have kind of come out of the tent where all of the cultists have gathered. They're still eating and drinking away. You guys came in kind of halfway through dinner time. And that looks to be, you've only been in camp probably a half hour, 45 minutes at this point. And looks like dinner's starting to wrap up. Does anyone want to do anything? Gore, you're standing in front of a knocked out half-orc by the Drake pin.
Yeah, how much do I know about drakes?
Why don't you give me a nature check?
Okay.
Drake's really natural? Yeah.
And what I want is to know how much I know about their behavior.
Okay. Let me see what I know about their behavior.
Apparently I know nothing.
Yeah, you know that they're kind of dragon-like. I mean, you recognize that they are drakes and that there are two different kinds of drakes in the pen. Some are relatively small, maybe kind of small alligator size, and some of them are pretty large. And they've got more horns and look a little bit more dragon-like. That's about all. You know that they like to eat humans. In the time that you've been standing there, you've seen them eat a slave boy who was thrown in by the half-orc, and you've seen them eat two cultists who were thrown in by Julianne. They seem pretty well sated now. The last cultist that got through down there they didn't quite finish. There's still like a leg and, a hand lying in the corner that they haven't quite eaten yet.
Okay. Okay, I want to open the gate. But before we do that, is there anywhere I can climb up to try to avoid them after I open the gate?
Yeah, the cliff walls are actually relatively easy to climb, but if you're in a hurry, you will have to kind of make a check to kind of climb out of the way. But you can certainly climb up the side of the just the cliff face there, if you're careful.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna open the gate and then try to climb up the side.
Okay.
Preferably the side where the guard tower is.
Okay, as soon as you walk up to the front of the gate, where the gate is, they all kind of start gathering up, kind of like puppies do when you're about to feed them. They all know kind of what's about to happen, and they all gather right there. Go ahead and make a... Let's see, go ahead and make a dexterity dex check. You can add acrobatics to it to see if you can get out of the way before they just kind of jump out at you.
Okay.
16. They get a 14. So yeah, you're able to like undo the latch and kind of barely push open the gate before you kind of jump out of the way around to the backside. Which part of the cliff were you trying to climb up? Towards the guard tower?
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead and make a strength check with your athletics to climb up. Okay, yeah, you start climbing up, and it's relatively slow going, but you're able to find pretty good handholds as you make your way up this 150-foot cliff up to the top towards the guard tower. Warlin and Ander, you guys have kind of exited the tent and are standing outside of it. You can see in front of you, towards the front of the camp that you came through at the beginning, is kind of the kobolds area, and there are probably 100 kobolds just running back and forth and, you know, kind of causing chaos with each other. And every once in a while, one of them stops and kind of gives you a sideways glance as to, you know, why are these two humans that we try not to interact with standing here? What are you guys doing?
Me seeing the, a master thief and all.
Right.
I'm getting the sensation that it's time for me to leave. So I'm going to start making my way to that rendezvous point that we totally made up last time.
Which was... I'm drawing a blank on that. What was that?
We didn't, but I'm leaving the camp to go stand out and wait for them to leave.
Okay, you saw...
I'm following Warlin.
Actually, if you guys do recall, Warlin said we should make a rally point, but nobody agreed with me. So Warlin's going to go back to where we said we were going to leave the shield, but not quite that far away, but in that direction.
Okay, so you're going to walk back out the front of the camp, the way you came in.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, walk out the front gates. If
That's
there
the
are
only...
such...
Other than that ladder that you saw when you were coming in at the very back that Julian climbed up, that's the only way out. Unless you want to climb up the cliff.
It's like a cave, over here is the only way in?
Yes, that's the only entrance. It's like a horseshoe-shaped rock formation, and you guys came in the only real entrance.
But I mean, it's not 10 foot wide, right? I mean, it's pretty wide, so I can probably sneak by, correct?
Yeah, and I mean, there's no real gate to speak of. It's probably about 30 feet wide.
You're trapped, bro.
I don't know. We're gonna go try to walk out that way. Y'all stay and die.
All right, and Ander, you are following him?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you seem to walk through with relatively no problem. The kobolds kind of give you a wide berth as you pass through, but nobody is really challenging or scrutinizing your being there. Yalara, you are in the tent still drinking. What would you like to do?
Well, let's see. If I remember correctly, I'm all by myself again.
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like as the alcohol continually, shifts over from being a buzz to kind of just a dull, sensation, that part of me knows that I need to talk, but I think I'm just kind of huddling myself into a corner of the tent with my tankard in hand.
All right, you're just hanging out there? Okay. After a few more minutes, you see the dragon claws, which are kind of the black armored guys that were whipping the slaves who were tending the food and the drink. You see them. Dinner starts kind of winding down. Half the people in the tent are passed out at this point, and or there's still kind of the card game going on in the middle with the dwarven woman and some other people. But you see that the dragon claws who are tending the slaves kind of crack the whip and say, "All right, dinner's over. Back to your tents." And they kind of round everybody up and they go out the east side of the tent over in this general area. And you saw one of the slave kids walk out when you heard a high-pitched whistle. He walked out with some food towards that way, never came back. So now there are 7 of the prisoners that the kind of dragon claws round up, and they walk out towards the east. So you're just hanging out there. Julienne, let's see, what would Julienne do? After taking out the guards, she's going to go ahead and make her way back down the cliff and back down the ladder. Still dressed in her robes. Let's see, I think I can shift click on her. I've got to check what her perception is. Okay. So Julienne just kind of keeps making her way back, and she gets to right about here and sees some dragon claws and prisoners coming towards her from the tent, and off from her right she sees a horde of about 10 or 11 drakes come walking out and like sniffing very cautiously, like they kind of know they're not supposed to be out, but they start wandering down here into the tent, or into and around the tent. And the dragon claws that are escorting the prisoners see this and say, there's 2 of them guarding the prisoners, and they immediately freak out and look over and start screaming, Chelmsford's asleep on the job again, or passed out drunk, and they start running after the guard drakes and trying to, like, very feebly, like, they're these very sophisticated black armored guards. They look, very austere, and like as soon as they see these guard drakes running around, they're like, oh my gosh, get it. They're like trying to herd them back. And so right in this general area, you've got these dragon claws who are kind of slowly trying to herd these guard drakes back towards their pen. And the prisoners are just like kind of frozen. And Julian sees all this and just kind of tries to sneak on past and goes back out towards the front. And starts kind of walking out of the camp. Gore, you're, halfway up this cliffside, and you hear all this screaming and commotion and stuff down below, and you see a group of like 7 prisoners kind of being left alone by their guards, trying to herd the guard drakes back into their pen.
I'm only halfway up.
Yeah, this has all taken place in just a matter of minutes.
Okay. How long will it be till I reach the top then? Another few minutes?
Yeah.
Is there anywhere to stand on the cliff? Or
there are
like there
are little outcroppings and stuff where you could stand still kind of with your backs flat up against the cliff face. There might be a little ledge here and there. So yeah, I mean, you can free your hands, but you can't. You're not going to be able to really move or maneuver in any way. You could stand on a ledge, turn around, and put your back to the edge of the cliff, but that's about it.
All right, and the grass, if there is grass, inside the hold on, if I could click in that area.
In the Drake pin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there grass there?
Yeah, it's relatively short and sparse as you're kind of getting into foothill area. It's not that really tall grass that you walked through to get here. But yeah, there's certainly grass covering most of the ground in here. Scrub grass and scrub brush, and they're kind of brush and bushes all over.
Okay, would that mean that it's drier grass?
Yes.
Okay, now is there enough? Am I able to light a fire on one of these outcroppings? If I wanted to light a torch, say?
No, there's no grass. You're gonna have to get some flint and tinder out of your backpack.
Wait, can I do that then? I have a tinderbox.
Yeah, you can absolutely try and light a torch with your tinderbox. There's no grass on the cliff.
No, I don't want to light grass
you.
on the cliff. I want to throw a torch down that's on fire down into the grass below.
Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check if you've got the flint and tinder in your inventory, or a tinderbox or whatever to light the torch. Under duress, since you're trying to light it relatively quickly. Yeah, you light the torch, no problem.
Okay, I throw it down into the Drake pit.
Okay. And you throw it down and you just stand there and watch what's happening?
No, I keep climbing.
Okay, so you turn around and keep climbing, but you can, after a minute or two, when you start to kind of get close to cresting the top, you can see some kind of orange light flickering off of the cliff face in front of you, and some smoke starts rising. It's not like you just immediately threw a torch down and poof, it burst into a towering inferno, but you've definitely started a fire.
Okay.
And the dragon claws that were trying to herd these drakes back into this pen start screaming further and going, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do? There's a fire at the drake pit." And so you kind of go ahead and climb out further. Go ahead and make, as you crest the top of the top of the rise there, right next to the guard tower, make a perception check. Okay. Nothing seems out of the ordinary, except for the fire and the screaming commotion. And as they've started screaming and causing a ruckus, people are starting to come out of these tents. And actually, that was for one thing. Make another perception check. Okay. Yeah, you're mainly concerned about what you're doing, but people in the tent, Yulara's gone. Well, as Julian and Warlin and Ander are kind of leaving the encampment, you hear kind of a ruckus from behind you, and you can kind of turn around and see, people start pouring out of the food and drink tent where you were and running back towards this Drake area.
I turn to Ander and I say, "And this is our cue to run." And I increase to a brisk walk. More like a brisk out run for me, but it's definitely a brisk walk for Ander.
Okay. So while before we can get to Yulara's actions, so Gore, what's your kind of end game here? What are you trying to do up here on the cliff?
Well, I want to be able to see the tent below over here.
Okay. So,
I'll be right back.
okay. Okay, so, Yalara, you hear this great commotion and some screaming out from the east, and some people that were passed out kind of start waking up and, stumbling / running out of the tent, over here towards the east, where these guard drakes have been kept. And the tent is starting to empty out. There's a few passed out people under tables and stuff, but everyone seems to be kind of running in that direction. And there seems to be kind of a big commotion starting.
Okay. Well, even through my drunken haze, I have a slight jolt as I think, oh my gosh, I wonder if it's one of my peeps. So I'm going to stumble out with, kind of let the crowd carry me out. And when I emerge, am I going to see Gore up at the top?
No.
Okay, so I'll just come out.
There's no chance of you really seeing him from where you're at. But what you do see is back here. There is kind of a fire. Whoops.
Back where?
Sorry. This section here, can you see what I've just drawn? That has started to catch on fire, and from right around in this area, you see the 2 dragon claws that were tending the slaves, hurting kind of the drakes, but also being extremely confused and not hurting the drakes because their pin is on fire now. And all the cultists are kind of just standing around here, watching, and they're all kind of milling about and screaming, and people are saying, go get Mondath, go get Cyanrath, somebody do something. As soon as you come out of the tent, directly to your right, you see the 7 slaves that are kind of chained together in a chain gang, standing completely unguarded at this point. All their guards and everyone is completely distracted by the fire.
Okay, so in a flash, which is not really a flash since my limbs feel heavy from the alcohol, I'm gonna wander over there and go, all right, come on, you guys are going with me. Which translates, all right, come on, you are coming with me. And I'm gonna pick up, I don't know if there's a loose end of the chain or what, but kind of motion and.
No, they were just following him.
Okay, so I'm just gonna see if I can start leading them away from everything and see if I can help rescue them.
Sure, make a persuasion check. A fairly easy one, since you look like somewhat of an authority figure and you're speaking like an authority figure.
I don't know. You bit intoxicated.
Okay, yeah. They're like they kind of look at each other for a second and they're still scared, and they just kind of nod at you. What direction do you start walking?
I'm going to take them away from the chaos, so I guess I'm going to start moving south? Is that this way?
So this way over here would be east. This would be south.
Oh, so I mean...
Sorry, this would be
west.
south. West would be towards the exit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a compass marker on here.
Up is north on most maps. Okay, so yeah, they start kind of marching away and following you. All right, Gore, you, to get a good view of the tent, the large tent that you're trying to get a view of, you're gonna have to come and stand probably somewhere up around here by the and look over the edge of the cliff by the ladder.
I can't crawl and crawl up to the edge.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Okay, I'm gonna crawl.
Okay. Yeah, there's nobody around. All attention seems focused on this fire and these freaking out drakes and freaking out guards, and So if you're somewhere right around here, you see from go ahead and roll another perception check, this time with advantage because you're actually kind of surveying the area. Okay,
Sorry.
so no problem. So you do see, was that 18 your recent roll, Gore?
Yep.
Okay. So you see right here at this dark spot that's kind of on the map a cross with a figure on it. It's not like a crucifixion cross. It's shaped in an X, and they've got one arm tied to each post and one up top and one leg down on the bottom of the X on each side, and you can tell vaguely that this humanoid form is a male and has dark hair and probably has some sort of beard. Without getting closer, you probably really inspecting it, you wouldn't be able to see that. As soon as you notice that, you notice out from this tent comes a very large half dragon, blue dragon, that the same one that you faced in front of the keep, and he begins walking out this way towards the fire and the commotion, having heard everything that's going on.
Okay, are the guards still around that tent?
Yes, the guards are still around that tent, and as soon as he walks out, they don't move. They don't go with him. He motions to them briefly, and they stay around the tent. You got 4 guards with 4 of the drakes on leashes, although the drakes are starting to kind of freak out. But the guards are still guarding the tent. You got basically 2 on each corner, or 2. They're kind of 4 surrounding it. All right, Yalara, as you kind of move through this out, you're going out towards the exit of the camp, the way that you came in, I assume, right? As you do, the kobolds look at you very strangely and start quipping and making little snarls at you, and
Are we going to get to eat tonight? Human flesh? Are these treats for us for doing good job on the raid?
and they start talking to you and kind of poking and prodding the prisoners.
Okay, well, I'm gonna swing my arm out and kind of, get off. These are prisoners, and take it out to the edge. I just say something random.
Okay. Sure. Make a deception check. You could do a deception or intimidation. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly the number you needed. They're like, they seem kind of nonplussed, but they back off a little bit, and you lead the prisoners out towards the front gate. There is one cultist out here, the guy that you talked to when you came in. When you came in, he was pretty drunk, and Warlin, Ander, and Julianne would have seen this as well. But he's completely passed out now, so you can just... They walked right past him, and you can too, out of the camp. All right.
So I go all the way out now?
Yeah, you go out. You can go out basically. They're maybe, I don't know, Warlin and Ander. How far outside of the mouth of the camp? What did you do after you left the camp?
Well, I'm just
I'm walking away,
really.
I'm walking away. I see Warlin has no interest of whatever's going on back there with, hundreds of kobolds and other dudes of putting his neck on the line. He is definitely walking away.
So my question is, after you left the camp, after you kind of got, outside the main entrance, how far did you go? Or are you just keeping on walking the same way you came? Or did you stop after a while?
I'd say we probably walked just to where, just out of eyesight of the camp.
Okay.
Maybe hanging behind the nearest little knoll.
Okay, so let's say you're probably about a half mile outside of camp. So Yalara, you've not caught up to them yet, but you do exit the camp really without much interference. And so we got Warlin, Andrew, and Julian outside the camp about a half mile. Yalara is leading a group of 7 prisoners to them. Gore, you're up on the cliff, and you see the blue dragon walking towards the commotion of the drakes in the fire. The tent is still guarded. What do you do?
I'm gonna check out this guard tower. Well, first of all, how far away is this tent from the ladder down? And how far away is the guard tower from the tent? And how tall is the guard tower?
The guard tower is only about 10 feet off the ground, being up that it's up on this bluff. The one at the front was probably about 20 feet off the ground, but this one's slightly shorter because it's perched up on this bluff. From the front of the guard tower to the ladder, it's maybe 50 feet. The ladder is, of course, about 150 feet down, maybe 130, because there's a little bluff there. And then from the bottom of the ladder, you can see to get to the tent, it would probably be about another 50 or so feet. So it's relatively close. But it's not butted right up against the bottom of it or anything.
Okay. Okay, are there any large rocks or boulders along the ledge?
That is a good question. I'm going to roll and see what happens. Yes, there are several very large rocks.
Oh, large? Well, how large? Are they too large to, say, tie a rope around?
No, you could tie a rope around them. You've got several kind of smallish boulders that are maybe 2 feet wide, and then there are also a couple of quite large, maybe 6-7 foot wide, rocks that you could tie a rope around or whatever.
Okay, what about over here?
I rolled really good on my check for rocks on the top of the cliff roll. So yes, I'll say there are the whole top of this area and the whole surrounding area really is kind of littered with these rocky outcroppings and boulders. It's a very rocky area, so you shouldn't have trouble finding decent sized rocks wherever.
Okay, so I'm going to tie my rope that I have a rock in that area so that I can climb down it to the bottom. But I'm not going to drop the rope down yet.
Okay.
And then I'm going to... what's the guard tower made out of?
Wood.
Okay, I'm going to light it on fire.
Okay. Go ahead and make another survival check to light a torch. You're not under duress at this point, so you can go ahead and do it. You're on a little ledge and trying to do it quickly before, so you had to roll for it. But you can light a torch, no problem. Okay. So you kind of leave a torch burning at the base of the guard tower. It's solid wood and it's constructed, so it's probably going to take it a little while to catch on fire. But you leave a torch at the base of it, and kind of move around here. Towards kind of, halfway between the cave and the tent, and start to climb down. You don't even have to make a check. It's a rope and you can climb down. If you're trying to climb down the cliff face, you'd have to make a climb check, but...
Well, I wasn't sure if I wanted to climb yet. Okay.
Well, you've got a rope tied around a rock at the top of the cliff there.
Okay. Now the guard tower, is it like, are the poles in the ground Like, can I push it over the ledge?
No, it's pretty well set in the ground. It's kind of like a stilt house. It's relatively roughly and quickly constructed, but you can't push it over.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, no, you can't push it over. While Gore's contemplating what to do, Yalara, you are walking out of camp with these prisoners in tow, and you seem to have gotten away scot-free. You get about a half mile outside and kind of over the crest of a rocky outcropping. You see Warlin, Ander, and Julienne kind of hiding out.
I thought I left.
You did. We're out. We're off the map now. You, Warlin, Ander, and Julienne are a half mile outside of camp to the northwest, along the same path that you came in. So you're a half mile away. You're away from the camp now. All four of you. Gore's the only one still in camp. So you kind of, you join back up with them. Do you guys say anything to each other, Warlin and Ander, when you see her?
She's towing prisoners.
Yes, she's got 7 prisoners still shackled together on a chain.
I'm just going to look up at her and say, impressive. What are we going to do with these 7? Get them all the way back to Greenhurst unseen?
Well, I'm definitely going to run up and offer aid to whichever ones that I can.
They are all pretty well, they're somewhat malnourished at this point. As far as the rules are concerned, they've got 1 level of exhaustion.
Prisoners isn't like they were captured from Greenhurst, not like prisoners like she took prisoners.
Yes, no, these are all the people these are the people that served you your ale and food in the tent. These were all of the slaves, more or less.
That brick hurt my forehead. Holy fuck.
I really apologize. I know it's really early, but I forgot to pee before we started, so I'm about to pee my pants. So I'll see you in like 2 minutes. Great. All right, so I, like a brilliant man, forgot to record the last little door. Ingeniously set fire to the guard tower, climbed down the opposite end of the canyon, snuck in, rescued Leosin, and escaped.
Don't forget I blew the horn before
and blew the horn.
Set fire to the...
And blew the horn to draw out all of the remaining cultists from their tents and the little church service that was going on, and drew everybody out of the cave, and all the cultists started kind of a bucket brigade at the trying to put out the fire in the Drake Pen. And for all we know, the tower is now a towering inferno, and the whole camp is just kind of catching on fire. But he rescued the monk Leosin and rendezvoused with all of you back about a half mile away over a little rocky outcropping. So you're all back together again about a half mile from the camp with Leosin the monk and 7 of the prisoners taken from Greenest and Burdusk and outlying areas. What do you do now?
Good job capturing 7 prisoners. How are we going to get these guys back to Greenest without being seen, by a camp full of angry people whose home you burned down?
By the way, did anybody else hear the wolf calls or howls?
Yes, what was that?
I don't know, but I'm going in any direction that's not towards that sound.
So you've got the camp from your current location. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and switch you back to the world map. Can you all see this, or do I need to put your tokens on there? Okay. So you all are kind of to the south of Greenest here, where the camp was, and you're actually probably just a little bit north of the camp. So the camp is directly to your south. Greenest is directly to your north, about, let's see, how far did you guys march? You marched 10 miles, so that's 3 miles an hour. So it's about 3 hours away from where you are right now, back to Greenest. And the howl came from northwest-ish. From nearest you could tell that, the howl came from somewhere around and to your northwest.
Is it? It's dark, right? Or it's pretty dark?
Yes, it's nighttime. And you all cast your memories back to that strange, mysterious gnome who popped out of the tall grass and said, "Best beware the southern green fields after dark."
Of course he would say something like that.
Whatever we do, we'd better get a move on, because, like you said, Warland, there's an angry cult that's going to be after us pretty soon.
Yeah, to your knowledge, nobody really took any conspicuous notice of you, except Yalara did leave through the front gate with 7 people, so it stands to reason.
Nobody really saw me except the kobolds.
That's true.
So we might actually be okay. And besides, and I kind of look behind at the people behind me. I'm not sure how fast, realistically, we can go, unless we can feed people and rest at some point.
They're all on their feet. I mean, they can. You can tell they could all walk for 3 hours. They're not. I mean, they're whipped and they're pretty bad off. But it's only been a day since the raid, and it's not like they're starving.
They're not starving.
It's not like they're starving to death or anything. Now, Leosin, on the other hand, you know that he walked all night from Candlekeep, probably 2 or 3 days, marched and came to Greenest. So he may not have slept or eaten. Well, probably slept in 3 or 4 days, and he does not look great. He's not bleeding out or anything. He's badly beaten, but he looks worse than the other prisoners. He can walk, but that's about it.
He can talk, though, right?
You can carry
yeah.
Gore. Big
Yeah, he
man
can
on
talk.
campus, right? No?
Why don't we ask Leosin if he knows what those wolves, what those howls are?
Ooh, good idea.
I've never heard those howls before. Well, I might have heard one on my march in after the raid when I was captured. But I'm not a naturalist, I'm a dragon scholar.
Dragon Scholar.
Do I know anything about them?
Yalara, I would say of anybody in the party, you might have heard something like this before. Go ahead and make a nature check.
Nature?
Yeah. Yeah, they sound like wolves, but it's slightly higher pitched and longer. It sounds like a wolf in distress or something. It sounds like just kind of a different wolf sound, but it's definitely wolfish. The closest thing you would have heard would be like a wolf in heat or a wolf in, being attacked or something.
So not like a werewolf or a direwolf or anything.
You don't know? It sounds like a wolf, but different. That's about all you know.
Well, I mean, if it's really bothering us and we want to know, would it be worth... I mean, I can turn into a wolf and go find out. I don't know if they'd beat me up or kill me, because I smell different. That might be a way to do some reconnaissance.
Leosin kind of pipes up and says, well, you all have escaped and you've rescued me, and I thank you, but it may not be long before those cultists realize the jig is up. I think I was a pretty high priority target for them the way they hunted me down in the middle of the chaos of the raid of Greenest. So, I would say we hightail it back to Greenest as quickly as we can.
Yes. We should.
Well, if they captured you from Greenest once, perhaps we shouldn't go back to Greenest twice.
Yeah, it might not be the safest place.
Well,
but it's probably the closest.
Normally, I would say you're right.
User
But they've
joined
gotten-
your channel.
But they've gotten all of the loot that they can from Greenest. There's no real need for them to go back there, especially now that their force is weakened from the raid. They can't attack the keep proper and get into the treasury like was their plan. There's no reason for them to raid Greenest a second time 2 days in a row. All they're after is money. They're stockpiling treasure, gold from all across the southern Sword Coast.
Are they
What?
trying to attract more dragons?
That I don't know, and that's why I've tracked them, and I'm trying to figure out their master plan, and I don't know what it is yet, but I do know that the only thing that they're after is gold. Gold and riches. They're stockpiling them, I'm assuming, to just further fund their operations, but there may be, and it feels like there's a more nefarious reason behind it because of the activity of the cult has risen quite steeply in the last week.
Well, my question is, if you say they're after gold, then how come they were after you? Which, just judging, you don't look like you're gold.
I'm not, but I have been tracking them for a while, and I think that Resmir knew that I was... Let's just say that she knows that I know too much.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt. What's going on here? Just wondering.
We are playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Ah, okay, I got you now. Alright. Cool.
So,
Can we help you?
Just listening.
Who are you here with?
Me, myself, and I.
Personally, I don't mind anybody listening.
yeah, man, that's cool. You're welcome to listen. Just we're just getting in the flow of the game, so try not to interject.
I still have some more questions. You mentioned you're a dragon scholar. I fancy myself a dragon scholar as well.
Oh, really?
And just to try to kind of coerce him into seeing if he can prove himself as a dragon scholar, I want to ask him like some random question that is not typically known about dragons. Only people who kind of think of like second year college kind of level question that you would ask them.
Sure.
Is there a check I need to make for that, or can we just assume I asked that?
We can just assume you asked that, and he answers it very thoroughly to your satisfaction. You can tell that he knows about dragons, but he does say that he has been a dragon scholar, but for the last several years, his kind of specialty has more been this specific cult of the dragon and investigating them and their movements and stuff. But he says, yeah, we're out here in the middle of the green fields with possibly an angry cult at our back. We can discuss this more once we get to safety.
Yes, I would like to compare notes. I believe our safest course, gentlemen, is probably going to be back to Greenest. The only real threat these guys stand at us right now against Greenest is going to be that dragon, but I don't think that they'd want to come back that way anyway.
Lenithon.
they've been pillaging their way through multiple villages, so they will most likely want to keep going.
As soon as you mention the dragon, he says, "Oh yes, that dragon acted very peculiarly. I've never seen a dragon be that indifferent about attacking a town before."
Yes, I too have wondered about that. We had our own run-in with that dragon outside of town before the raid. Casually playing with sheep. It was not very dragonly of it.
Yes, I saw him do the same thing after one of his attacks. He swooped down at the tower, breathed his lightning on it, and flew off about a quarter mile and landed in a field and just started kind of wallowing around in the grass.
It's very strange behavior.
Very strange behavior for a
User
dragon.
disconnected from your channel.
And I noticed that he also flew off to the east when he appeared to have been shot. That was right before I was captured. But I'd wager that his lair is in the Sunset Mountains. At any rate, so you all are defectors, or what is you're obviously not cultists, and you're all still dressed in your robes. Why have you rescued me, and who the hell are you?
Well, let's just say that we are those who have rescued you. And these are some pretty interesting times we're living in at the moment, and quite frankly, I'm not ready to share that information until we have a more full picture of what all is going on ourselves.
Right. Well,
So
that's
shall we proceed back to Greenest?
I half expected to be.
Well, that's not very
rescued.
forthcoming of a paladin of Bahamut, might add.
I am a cleric, and I'm not lying.
I
It's
just have a question. Will there be more wine?
Yalara is still pretty drunk, and Leosin is just kind of like, "Oh, you all picked up one of the No, never mind. He's not gonna say that."
I don't know.
Says,
Let's
well,
put it
this
to a
young
vote.
lady
Does
looks
he
like
say
she
it
likes to
every
have a good time. Well, I expected to be rescued. Honestly, I know the monks from Candlekeep I was traveling with were a part of my organization, so to say. But if you all are not part of that organization, then I'm not sure who you are.
Well, perhaps we are part of that organization. Which one is it?
I would know if you were part of this organization.
All right,
And
we've got no time
I'm
for
gonna
this.
whisper kind of loud to Warlin. Is he talking about the harbors?
Oh, so you have heard of us? Yes.
Well, we saw a dead one of you once.
Oh well, pin a rose on your nose.
Okay.
You see, like, Warlin
I'm
go into a
inclined
deep thought.
to
He's trying to
agree with Gord.
remember. You ran across the harbor.
Warlin would definitely remember that the gnome that was dead
Oh.
in the first place had a harper necklace. And I think the game that you missed, the monk that told you about Leosin in the first place gave you Leosin's harper's necklace.
Yeah, he didn't.
And said, go find this guy because I'm part of the same group.
Hey.
So,
To quickly dispense with formalities before we move on, my name is Ander Faustine. I'm a cleric of Bahamut. This little
Forget the introduction.
annoying one is Warlin. You what?
We're wasting time here.
Yes, I'm
Or
trying to hurry.
something
Now,
so
Gore,
busy.
the interrupting orc, would give us a moment.
he's a human.
This,
Oh,
Julian's
not.
the orc. Oh, I thought Gore was a...
Human.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was like a half giant.
oh, you're human? I thought you were an
I
orc.
didn't know you could be a half giant. I would have done that.
What the hell is... You don't have anything filled out for your race, and your picture looks like a human, so I just assumed you were
I
a
do
human.
too have... What? I've got stuff filled out.
Brat, dude. Oh, that's right. Julien's the orc.
Julian's a half orc.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just quickly dispense with formalities, and I'm gonna. Anders definitely gonna be like, all right, guys, let's keep moving here.
All right, hold on. My world's being rocked because I thought Gore was a human. At the top of your character sheet under race, there's nothing there.
Oh, I didn't know those were there. All my stuff is written down in the background section.
I remember. I have like okay.
Yeah, I kind of skipped that first page where like everything goes.
No, I mean I read all your background stuff and it's great, but I didn't see anything about. I'm skimming it now. Anyways, half elf. Okay, good.
You're a half elf? What?
So Gore is a big, burly, mean, vengeance-driven half elf with slightly pointy ears and who's a little taller. I thought just because you were a barbarian and your picture looks human, I thought you were this big, like, human guy. Anyways.
I didn't actually roll that tall, and my weight isn't that much either.
Okay, well, you're Gore is
I'm just barbaric in nature.
International man of mystery. Okay, so introductions have been made. He says, "Yes, I'm Leosin Erlenthaw, and let's get the hell to Greenest." So, what route are you guys trying to take? You heard a howl. You can't tell where it's from. You can't tell if it's really a regular wolf, or none of you really know what it is.
Even
but Greenest is
wolves
to the
are
north.
pretty scary.
Well, I would get. Anders gonna throw his 2 cents in, or 2 coppers in, and say, I say the direct route as much as possible, but off the roads.
There's no road. There's no road through the green fields. You guys followed the trampled down path.
There's a trampled path.
Yes. All right. So you all kind of start heading north, not on the trampled path, though. Correct?
That's where Anders suggests we go.
I agree.
Okay. So you all kind of head off in that direction, walking slightly off to the east of the path that you came down. You get about halfway to Greenest. You know, you walk about an hour and a half. No more howls. No, you don't hear anything really. But you do see off kind of to the distance. It's relatively bright night, cloudless, and the moon is bright. And you can see kind of just off, 200-300 feet to your left, the rocky outcroppings and a small fire with some smoke where the rear guard that you kind of tricked your way around the first time is stationed. Y'all just want to keep walking, or do you want to do anything with that?
I feel like we should go up there and check to make sure that they're asleep, like they said they would be.
I feel like we should keep going.
I think we should keep going.
We now have prisoners.
Okay.
Well,
Gore?
our rogue can always take a detour.
Or your druid who can turn into any animal.
Or the druid.
It's true.
All right, we got 2 votes for go check it out and 2 votes for don't go check it out, and Julian's not here, so.
Fine, I'll go.
All right. All right, you kind of start heading off.
Hold on.
Okay.
User was moved out of your channel. You were moved.
All right, so sticking with my character, Brian.
Yeah.
He walks out into the dark, and just walks out far enough so that they can't see him, and he sits down and takes a nap for about 15 minutes.
Okay. What would your passive perception be?
10
plus your dex. Right?
Dex modifier?
Dex modifier. Well,
it would be 13.
Okay, it's over 10.
I'm not like take a nap, but and basically,
right.
He's not going to put himself in harm's way. Basically,
sure.
is what's going on down here.
So if your passive perception's over 10, you would know. I mean, you're not that far from it. You can see the light, and you're close enough that it's not that late, and there is literally no sound, no voices, no nothing coming from that area. Like, it's conspicuously quiet, because you know there were 10 dudes over there. And so you hear, in the 15 minutes that you're kind of chilling, you know, out of their way. And in fact, go ahead and make a hide check versus their passive perceptions. And since it's dark, it's not completely dark, it's dim light, you can have advantage to see if they see you stop. Okay, so with advantage, yeah, nobody sees you, but you do notice that there are no voices, no snoring, no nothing coming from that area. So you can do with that whatever you want.
Awesome. Okay, I'll move us back down.
Okay.
Super secret room.
All right, so you all...
You were moved.
Oh,
User
yeah,
joined your channel.
exactly.
All right, so you all see Warlin creep off into the shadows, and he's gone for about 15-20 minutes, and then comes back.
Well, little one?
It looks like they weren't there. I didn't hear anything. I guess they could be asleep, but I didn't see anything either.
Did you not just go up there and check?
No.
Are you lying?
You can make an insight
No.
check.
Why would I lie to you?
All right. I don't really fully believe you. I am going to do an insight check.
Yeah, Gore did one and succeeded, but I'm not really sure if Warland was lying or not, because you said, did you go up there and check? And he said no. So he's telling the truth, I guess.
It's true. I kind of thought that too, and I thought I was wrong.
So then where
you
did you go?
Wait, you said no? I lost you.
Yeah. So because the question was, did you go up there and check? And Warland said no. Then
Warland is just trying to confuse you all.
Like he's actually,
I am confused.
he's telling the truth. He didn't go up there. So to check for insight is like. So where'd
Gore's
you go
like,
then?
he's telling the truth. I still don't know what happened.
Okay. Alright, forget this. Let's just move on.
I'm going to be on my guard.
Okay, so you all keep moving. And after about another hour or so, you can kind of see the little, again, off to your left pretty far, you can kind of see the circle where you killed all the kobolds and cultists and left the one alive. There was kind of a circle of matted down grass, and you all are not necessarily moving with stealth. So give me just a second. Okay. As you guys kind of approach that area. And I know you're not walking directly to it, but it's off again, probably 100 yards or so to your left. You hear this kind of wet, snarling, tearing, sound. And as you get just a little bit closer, it suddenly stops cold, and you hear some rustling in the grass.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out my pike, get ready
Does
to
anyone know what
defend
it
the party.
is? Like, does anyone recognize this sound?
I mean, it sounded...
What animal it would belong to, or what critter?
You can't really tell. It just sounds vaguely beast-like, and like it was very voraciously grooming itself, or eating, or doing something, and kind of grunting and snarling. And there were some other kind of tearing and wet-sounding noises. Do you all stop, or do you just keep going?
Would you like me to go check it out again?
No.
Warlin looks back at Gore and says, fine.
All right, so you all keep trudging through the grass, or do you? I feel like I don't want to. The dungeon master doesn't want to put a hook in your mouth too much, but is anybody trying to be quiet?
And see what happens.
Yeah, we better see what it does.
So you all stop. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes goes by. You don't hear anything else.
Yeah, my base is most assuredly out, and definitely ready to handle whatever I can.
You guys are all on the ready, but the longer you wait, the quieter the night seems.
Well, after a few more minutes, I'm gonna say I suggest we keep moving.
All right, but I'm still gonna stay as alert as possible.
Okay. So you all are gonna slow down. Are you gonna try and move quietly, or?
I'd say move violently.
Well,
Or maybe
we've
put
got
one of our
all
tougher
the-
fighters in the back.
You do have a lot of people with you at this
Yeah.
point. But I mean, you can tell them to, walk quietly too, and you can take your time instead of just, okay, we got to get to greenest, and trudge ahead through this tall grass. It's relatively noisy as you're walking through it. So, if you're just gonna keep walking on, then you keep walking on.
Yeah, definitely at the ready though.
Okay, you're at the ready, but not necessarily trying to be quiet.
Well, I'm trying to not intently make a whole lot of noise, but I am gonna be at the ready,
As
and
quiet as can be.
Okay.
I am gonna try to be quiet, but not actively sneaking around to the point where it's gonna slow my movement.
Okay. Well, you all keep walking on.
Warlin is essentially, walking in stealth, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Anybody who
He's
wants
a
to
master at it.
anybody who wants to try and be not loud, make a stealth check.
Okay. I honestly cannot tell if that owl noise is coming from here or if our owl is back outside.
It's coming from. I started I forgot I had little.
I know,
night
but this is
forest
also
sounds.
about the time that they start. I suck.
It's alright. It's a group. Oh, I gotta make one for Julienne. It's a group stealth check, so we just need the majority of people to succeed or fail. Okay, so... Well, 3 of you make it. So you're able to be relatively quiet. I should do it at disadvantage since you got all these people, though. So 3, 10, 4, 10. Okay, 10. So everybody, you're able to relatively be pretty quiet. And as you kind of make your way through the grass, the more quiet people are going in front and kind of pushing away, matting down some grass and telling the prisoners, where to step. And you all make it back to Greenest without incident. Extremely luckily.
Nice.
Much to my dismay. Okay, so you just read for just a second. Okay, so as you're coming back into Greenest, it's about 3 or 4 in the morning, and you can see that even in the relatively short time you've been gone, 7 or 8 hours, the rebuilding process has already begun, and people are working kind of through the night trying to rebuild their homes and different things. And there's kind of a skeleton crew construction working on the houses right now, but you can hear them kind of as you walk back into town. They start to whisper themselves, "Oh, the heroes of Greenest! Oh, the heroes of Greenest are back! Oh, that's Gore. He's the one who faced down that half dragon." Oh, and there you can tell that people are kind of like, "Whoa!" Like these are the people that kept our town from being completely razed. So. R-A-Z-E-D. So you make it back to the keep and everything, and you find Cuth Swift, the man that you rescued from the first encounter at the farm, talking to the dwarf, who I forgot his name already, talking to Escabert, who's got one arm off still. And they're talking in the keep, and the governor, Nighthill, is not around, and Cuth comes up to you and says, "Oh, did you all are back safe. What news did you find out? What did you find out about the cult?"
There's
Found out they have a lot of
a
really good
lot of
members.
them.
Oh yeah, how about what are their numbers?
I believe we counted a little over 200.
Wow, that many.
We did manage to rescue several. However, that being said, it is not exactly it's not all good news, unfortunately.
Well, you rescued these 7 souls. I recognize you, and these 3 are from Greenest. Please go. He gestures to the prisoners and thanks you all profusely and sends them into the castle ward to rest and get healed and everything. What is the bad news?
That there's a freaking dragon down there? Oh, sorry.
You saw the dragon again? The dragon was in the camp?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe he was.
The big blue dragon that was flying over the keep?
Yes.
No, the other dragon. Of course, the big blue dragon. Sorry, there's a big dragon there. I was a little upset that you sent us to a dragon hold.
Okay, so just to be clear, you guys saw the half dragon who's a humanoid.
Right. I was gonna say, I was like, did anyone actually see?
Not the full adult full dragon that was circling the keep and flying around. two different blue dragons. One's a half dragon, one's an actual dragon.
Don't care, dragon.
Well, one of you could probably kill. The other one, all of you together times 10 probably couldn't kill. But, anyways. So what else did you find out? Where exactly, he says where exactly is the camp?
To the south of the greenest, but they will likely be moving off very shortly.
Really? Why do you say that?
Well, aside from the fact that we've overheard them mention that they have been raiding many villages, it does not sound like they're going to be stopping anytime soon.
At that, Leosin pipes up and says, "Sir, I assume you're the caretaker here." And Kuth is like, "Yes, actually, just yesterday, after kind of the fiasco that our previous governor caused, he was asked to step down, let's just say, and I'm in charge now." "Who are you?" And they talk in a little bit, and Leosin, just begins to spill his guts, and he says, "While it may seem that you might think that they would move off after the fire, and they might move on to raid other villages, I know that they have hit all of the southern Sword Coast that they wanted to, and Greenest was their last and biggest raid. Where they're moving on to from here, I can't say, but I don't think it will be anytime soon, because Resmir has a clutch of dragon eggs in that cave, and she's trying to raise them, and I know that if she tries to move them, they will die. So I would say that camp, they will be there for at least another 3 or 4 weeks until those dragon eggs hatch." And, he tells you...
I would suggest we need to contact a larger city and ask for help in bringing in more protection. See, based on this map, we should go to Burdusk or Scornable, or even as far as Baldur's Gate in order to elicit aid against this cult.
Well, that's definitely a good idea, but I'm from an organization which I believe you're familiar with, and our prime goal is to gather information. We know that Burdusk, Erebor, Eastwing, Baragost, and possibly even Candlekeep were all raided within the last few days.
They managed to raid Candlekeep?
Well, I'm not sure. I know that Baragost was raided. I don't know if they've gone as far as Candlekeep, but this is just one faction of the Black Wing of Tiamat. The Dragon Cult is divided into 5 separate factions: the black, the red, the white, the green, and the blue, all to represent one head of their dragon god Tiamat. And the southern part of the Sword Coast is controlled right now by the Black Wing of Tiamat, and they have several different groups that all went and hit different towns. The largest of the forces, of course, came against Greenest, because apart from Scornable and Baldur's Gate, Greenest was the largest. Candlekeep is not a rich town, and so I'm not sure if they hit there or not. At any rate, Resmir will not risk moving the dragon eggs. And the dragon eggs, once they hatch, of course, won't be even remotely full-grown or considered young or even considered a threat for many years, as dragons age quite slowly. Still, she wants those dragon eggs. And he goes on and tells you basically everything you already know. The cult has been going on raids to collect treasure. He doesn't know why, but that's their prime directive, is collecting treasure. And he doesn't know where they're going yet, but he knows they're amassing all of that treasure in that cave that you all saw, where the dragon eggs are. And he's extremely exhausted and dehydrated. They bring him water and food, And that is actually the end of chapter 2 of The Hoard of the Dragon Queen, and I was not expecting us to get quite this far, so I'm going to read a little bit of this box text from the beginning of chapter 3. He says, "After all you've done already for me personally and for the people of Greenest, I have to ask you. I hate to ask anything more from you, but the need is great, and I dare hope that you can aid me one more time. I need you to return to the cultist camp. You know your way around it now, and you seem to sneak in without any trouble, really, the last time. If the cultists are preparing to conduct another raid, or a large body of them marches away, if anything substantial is carried into or out of that cave, I need to know. If you have a chance to get into the camp and look around again, that would be the ideal way to spot anything that's changed. I don't recommend yourselves getting captured, of course." So, Kuth gives you each 250 gold for your raid for your intelligence gathering at the camp. You tell him exactly where the camp is located, and what you don't know yet is why these attacks are occurring. Oh no, you do know that for loot. You don't know where they're going to go next. And before... So Leosin's basically saying he wants you to go keep an eye on that camp, whether blending in or whether just watching from afar or anything like that, while he kind of recovers here. He's going to need 3 or 4 days to get he hasn't slept in days and days. He's got several levels of exhaustion. And so he wants you guys to go back there and just keep an eye on it, because before they know where they're going to attack or go next, there's nothing really we can do.
All right. Well,
Okay.
As far as you mentioned the idea of trying to amass a larger force. He says, yes, to find a force to actually go in and raid the camp, we would need to go to Scornubel or Baldur's Gate even, and it would take many weeks for them to get here, and in that time, who knows what the cult could do. Plus, I don't want to let the cult... I want to know what their larger purpose is. If we attack the Black Wing, then the Red Hand and the Green Eye of Tiamat and all the other factions of the cult all over the Sword Coast will know what's going on, and they may drop their plans, they may change their plans. We've done many months of work to get this far.
I'm very leery of going back to the camp that we burnt down. I'm just saying.
Well, did anyone see you burn it down?
Not me.
Were any of
Not
you...
as far as I know.
Were any of you identified as any kind of threat in any way? I mean, you got me out of there. It seems like you've already made contacts there and would be welcomed back in, because some of them might even recognize you. At any rate, you don't have to go in. Just see if you can perch up at the top of the cliff or anything and keep an eye on what's going on. Of course, you'll all be compensated for this. Since you won't have to actually engage with the cult, I'd say 150 gold apiece.
Tempting.
More than fair.
We have to know what they're up to.
Does it come in small denominations?
I can see to it that it's given to you however you prefer.
Well, I suppose if we don't have to go inside, I'm okay with that.
Right. Well, while I recover here, yes, I'd very much appreciate it if you all could be my eyes and ears on that cult and we can find out what's going on.
Does seem like something that we need to do to help ensure the safety of this entire area. Cults are a dangerous thing, after all.
Forget that. I'll do it for the money.
Well, if you all see anything, or if you watch it for a few days, if I recover, it should hopefully only take me a day or two to recover before I can make the trek back to Il Terrell. Rendezvous with me in El Terrell, which you all can see is up to the west of Scornubel, between Baldur's Gate and Scornubel. And if, rendezvous with me there, and if I'm not there yet, meet with my compatriot, a member of the Order of the Gauntlet. His name is Anthar Froome.
Anthar Froome?
Yes, Anthar Froome.
I know him.
Oh, you do? How do you know him?
Well, he's a friend and mentor of mine.
Really? Well, it's a small world then, isn't it? I'm sure he would love to catch up with you